Hello, my name's Alex Lomangino, and I'd love to tell you a little bit about myself. So I grew up in the Midwest, spent a good portion of my life in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area with my mom and my little sister. That's actually where I met Jesus. So when I was in middle school, I was getting into some trouble, wasn't doing well in school, was trying to make people miserable. And then one day, it felt like my mom, as a way of trying to fix me, made me go to church with my cousins. I don't know if that's what her motivation was, but it sure felt that way to me. And anyway, that was the first time I'd ever really heard the full gospel story. I had been to church before, and it always confused me to see people in a room standing and singing and listening to one guy talk, but I never really knew the meaning. But the story of the gospel was really cool that time that I went. But what was even more significant was meeting this man named Mike. He was a pastor at this church who seemed to really care about me. And he seemed like he really wanted to know me. So for the next 6 to 7 months after that, I kept going back because I wanted to be around Mike and I wanted to be around these people who accepted me and loved me unconditionally. And as I was going over the course of about 6 to 7 months, I kept hearing the gospel story through Bible studies, sermons, teachings, all kinds of stuff like that. And then one day it just made sense. In fact, I remember the days leading up to it. Mike had taken me aside and he asked me, "Alex, are you a Christian?" And I looked at him and I said, "I don't know. I don't know what that means or how to make that happen." And that question kind of stuck with me. And over the course of about a week, I felt like I wanted to reach out to Mike and get a meeting with him. He and I would meet pretty frequently so I could process my emotions and different things like that. And so I reached out for a meeting after church, and that same night at church, he actually preached. And he asked the students who were there, if we were to die that evening, would we see the Lord in heaven, or would we be separated from him? And I knew that there in that moment, I would be separated from the Lord forever. So afterwards, I told Mike what was on my heart. He and I walked through the gospel. He asked me if I understood it, and the best way I knew how, I surrendered my life to Jesus that day, and the entire trajectory of my life changed. I really started trying to follow Jesus the best way I knew how, even as a young kid. Started going overseas myself on short-term mission trips, and through that I really felt a call to ministry, particularly to people who have never heard about Jesus before. And that's what led me to seminary. I wanted to fast track my way to getting to the unreached, getting to people who have never heard. And while I was at seminary, I actually got the chance to work for First Free for just a summer. I was able to work with Kurt Romig, Jordan Cron, Lucas McGarity some, and during that I learned a ton about ministry, about reaching the lost, and the Lord grew me.